Thank you. Thanks, and welcome to all of you. You know, people who are not themselves involved in creative activity, like music or art and painting and so on, often have a misconception about what is actually involved in being a creative artist. I remember growing up, we had an old, I think it was a woodcut reproduction in our house, and it was a picture of Beethoven sitting by a bucolic stream, trees, beautiful. He's got a notebook in his hand, and he's looking deeply inspired. And the first notes of Ode to Joy are in his notebook. And it gives the impression that there is this, perhaps divine inspiration that creative artists receive as a gift from above or beyond, or something mystical. And almost like Venus from the forehead of Zeus, the work springs forth complete and ready. And this is really a load of, well, I won't say because we're in a more dignified ceremony here, but it's completely not true. The things that go on in creating successful art always have a few common qualities. Number one, hard work. Number two, an awareness every moment of where you are and what you're doing, and the ability to turn problems into opportunities, to respond to constantly changing circumstances. Charles Darwin said, and it's different than what a lot of people think he said, it is that it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor is it the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. And that's never been more important than it is today, because change is all around us, particularly those going forward as young musicians, young artists, young business people, recording engineers, producers. The world of music, as many of us grew up knowing it, has really been turned on its head. And every aspect of how we listen to music, how we record it, how we compose it, how we distribute it, how we market it, how we listen to it, it is totally different and changing still. Being adaptable to change. To go forth now and be successful and make a life in music some way or another, you have to start with an idea. You want a song, perhaps? You just need a good idea. And it doesn't have to be a great idea. You don't have to be a genius. That's way overrated. You need to work hard. You need, as I said, to be alert. You just have to have an idea that is serviceable, and you work it, and you refine it, and you revise it. We're sitting here in the auditorium of the History Theater at McNally Smith College of Music. And about 26, 27 years ago, a couple of guitar players decided to start their own teaching enterprise. It was a guitar studio, guitar lessons. And over a period of time, they added bass and then keyboard, and the school grew, the studio grew. And really, after a number of years, the idea came up of, well, maybe we could put together courses with theory and have a diploma program, some kind of full, rounded education. And the story goes on, and we're sitting here now in one of the most distinguished colleges of contemporary music in the world. My point is, it was not Jack and Doug's idea initially to start one of the coolest contemporary colleges of music in the world. That was not where they started, but it is where we are today. And it's because they had perseverance, they were driven to succeed, they were following their passion, what they loved to do, they worked hard, they took risks, and they were alert and paid attention. And when problems arose, they could find in those problems new opportunities. Vision is really overrated. I mean, it's great to have an idea about where you want. I mean, frankly, I do have a vision for this college, and we all share, we talk about it, and we shape it and where we want to go. But as I hope I illustrated in the story about this college, it's not about, don't be intimidated by having to have this brilliance. You just need to apply yourself, do what you love doing, and keep doing it. And do it with friends, and do it with people that you love. And don't burn bridges, and don't ever be obnoxious to people, because it will always come back and bite you. Just be a nice person, and perhaps the most important thing of all, be on time. You know, show up. Right? I mean, that's it. You know, you're musicians, okay? Also, it's good to take plastic bags in your coat pockets, because when the hors d'oeuvres, when everybody leaves, you can fill them up. That's a very important tip. You know, musicians, really, there's two words I want to say. Quality rules. There is nothing more important. There's one top priority. Write amazing songs. Give riveting performances, make astounding recordings. Nothing else is even close. The quality of your work has got to be outstanding. Your efforts, your energy, your talents must go into, if you're a musician, making songs that are so good that people just can't wait to hear them again. And the priority is the same if you're a recording engineer, producer, entrepreneur. Clever marketing might draw people to your studio or get somebody to listen to your song, but it's the quality of your work that will keep people coming back. You may have a few fans among friends and relatives, and, you know, get some gigs, record some tunes, produce your first CD, and really think that you're on your way to the top. But you're wrong. Nothing will get people to listen to bad songs. You've got to have quality at the core of your work, so make sure that's your first priority and never lose sight of that. There's no shortcut to it. It takes dedicated and consistent application. If there's one gift I could give to you right now, it would be a powerful and dynamic imagination. One other quote I always love to share from Einstein, who said a lot of pretty smart things, said, "Logic will take you from A to B. Imagination will take you anywhere." So in a few moments, you will be college graduates, but you're well prepared. You're not on your own. Since day one here, we've tried to create an environment that provides substantive, real-world experiences here for you to eliminate the separation between college and the so-called real world. We've been trying to put you in the real world here. So when you leave, you have a running start. You are taking off. You've built a network of friends and allies here that will be with you always, helping, encouraging, and caring about you. Today is an important recognition of your accomplishments, and it's not goodbye. We wish you every success and happiness you seek, but we want you to know that you will always be a part of our wonderful community of artists, educators, friends here at your alma mater, McNally Smith College of Music. Now, I told you the story about Jack and Doug starting this college. Now I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce to you a couple of guys whose vision, tenacity, and perseverance has made it possible for all of us to be here today. So please recognize the work and commitment and inspiration of Jack McNally and Doug Smith. David Lewis, who's the head of our Career Services Center here, uses a great phrase. He calls this McNally Smith College of Doing. It's a great and accurate description of this place. We don't just talk about music and recording and producing, we do it. And we do it quite well, and we think we help you to learn to do it quite well because nobody is better at it than our faculty. I can honestly tell you this is without a doubt the most wonderful collection of caring, dedicated, talented, and accomplished artist educators that I've ever had the pleasure of working with. No one is more dedicated to your success than your teachers, who now become your friends and colleagues. So please join with me in recognizing and thanking the amazing faculty of McNally Smith College of Music. One of the many highlights of these commencement ceremonies is the opportunity to hear from one of your young colleagues and one of our SCAR students. I have to admit, it's kind of, these things are always, they're a mix of happiness that, you know, you've reached this point in your college career and we're all celebrating the end of paying tuition. No, wait. Where did that come from? But to hear from, there's also a kind of sad tinge, and this is personal for me because the student speaker today, Taylor Mill, is someone that I've known since she first got here, and frankly it's going to be very difficult to picture this place without Taylor and her great talent, her great energy and enthusiasm walking our halls. I got to share the stage with her recently when I had the great honor of being the narrator in the Rocky Horror Show, possibly the high point in my life. and Taylor was part of the cast, and it was a great success, and wouldn't have been the same without Robin in the audience, dressed and yelling and screaming in the grand tradition of Rocky Horror. But at this point, please welcome our summa cum laude graduate, Taylor Mill.
Hello, everyone. I just want to address my fellow graduates, faculty and staff, family, friends. I speak on behalf of all of us here when I say that it means the world to have you guys here to celebrate with us today. So for that, thank you guys. We wouldn't be anywhere we are today without you, so you're awesome. Now, I've always had this extraordinary fear of speaking in front of people, which tends to surprise people a lot because I'm a vocal performance major, so that might not necessarily be a normal thing. But, you know, I thought what I had to say today was worth shaking up here for like 5 minutes to address you guys. So hopefully I don't die, it's going to be fine. That being said, I'll move on to the point of this speech, all right? These past few years have really taught me to think of my life in an entirely different way, and that is the life of a musician. I know all my fellow graduates here can relate to me in saying that music is absolutely our lives, and we spend almost all of our time thinking about it, making music, practicing, blah, 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 all of these things. So, you know, today is just huge, and I feel honored to be speaking to you guys. I've discovered that life can be like broken down a little more simply than we're maybe used to. Like, we hear all these terms of finances, you know, watch your bank account, all these things. But today I'm going to break things down into the components of recording a song in the studio. All right? One of the first components of a recording is a click track. This provides the structure of our recording. There are some of us who depend solely on this, while others may choose to go without it altogether. Neither of these choices is wrong, because when recording a song, all that really matters in the end is that we put forth our best effort and we produce an amazing track that we're going to be proud of for the rest of our lives and that other people can be proud of. Next, we focus on the progression. How does our song start out? Are our chord choices predictable, or do we choose to think outside the box and surprise people all the time? Are you the type of person that writes an AAA tune because you're most familiar and comfortable with the stability of playing the same chords and singing the melody over and over? Or maybe you're the kind of person that writes an AABA or verse-chorus tune. A song where you can keep most things the same with a little variety here and there. Or you might be the through-compose type who everything is different. You get done with one section and you never look back or retrace your steps. None of these things are wrong. It's just up to each of us individuals to decide what choice is the best for us. All right, once we have this foundation laid out, then we move on to the lyrics. Now, lyrics are a tricky thing and require a bit of thought. Most often we know what we'd like to say, but phrasing our thoughts out loud might not be our most wise decision. Words are how we communicate with people, how we interact. And it's important that we're able to express our own unique style through our words. That being said, I urge you to remember how powerful words can be. They can build people up, but if used unwisely, they can tear people down just as easily. When you're in a studio recording, you want to be sure to give your best performance you can. There will always be other various tracks and instruments to work around. And in life, I compare these tracks to all the people we surround ourselves with on a daily basis. Whether this is at home, at work, our family, anywhere. Some of the other tracks may be helpful to us, and we might want to put them up in the mix a little bit, while other tracks might distract us or bring us down. Sometimes you simply just need to make the decision to mute another track in the studio, or you won't be able to do your best. Shoot, hold on, just a minute. Let me figure this out. This is for all you production people out there, so you better laugh. There's too many tracks in the room. CPU overload? Anyone? Anyone? All right, cool. Now that that's covered, I have one joke. All right, cool. Glad you guys are here for me. The final piece of the recording process that I'd like to touch on today is something that ties into each of these previously mentioned things, and that is record mode. This performance mode refers to every moment of our life when others are watching us or listening to every word we say. I know I've personally had a lot of moments when some of the most brilliant things I've ever done have been done on standby. And I want to encourage everybody not to be discouraged by that. These are the moments that really, show us who we are. And you're never more honest than when you're on standby and nobody's around. Don't let that scare you. Embrace that. The beauty of being on standby is a concept that took me literally years to grasp. And after all my experiences, my failures, triumphs, and heartbreaks I've experienced, this is definitely the most valuable thing I've learned in my life, and I wanted to pass that on to you. As you go forward in life, I encourage you to embrace the power of being exactly who you are, because nobody else is like you. I know you hear that all the time, but it's true. So just remember that. All right. Today is the day we've been looking forward to for literally years, and I just really want to say to my classmates, proud of you all. I know most of you, which is awesome, because that doesn't usually happen at graduation. But I want to say congratulations to all of you, and it's been awesome being with you guys here. Thank you.
I get to work in the coolest place in the world. Thank you guys. Terrific job. And thanks. Let's have a hand for our young musicians also who are performing as the students came in today. Thank you all very, very much. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you and welcome to our college Michael Martin, founder and CEO of Effect Partners, a Minneapolis-based consulting firm. I'm not going to just repeat and read for you what you can see printed in the program, but Michael has a very, very interesting career that mixes entertainment and social change and environmental concerns that I'm personally very eager to hear what he has to say to us in this really very challenging time that we're all living in and that you all are about to really enter in a way to make a huge difference. Someone who's really made a difference in this world is Michael Martin. A couple of facts that aren't in the introduction in your program. Through some of the causes that Michael has worked for, he has taken 200,000 tons of CO2 out of the atmosphere, helped over 100,000 people to vote, to register to vote, raised over $2 million for various social causes, and has secured more than 100,000 new members for the environmental movement. He's a board member of the Environmental Media Association and Climate Counts. And he lives in Minneapolis with his wife Gwen and their 5 children. Please welcome Michael Martin.
Good morning. So when I was asked to come speak today, they said 11 a.m. I'm thinking, no way is a music school going to have an 11 a.m. graduation. I figured this is when you'd be going to bed, right? So everybody seems to be very alert and awake though. So congratulations to all the graduates. Congratulations to all the teachers and staff of the school. And as a parent of 5 kids about to enter college, congratulations to all the parents. You've got to be breathing a sigh of relief. So, I'm very honored to be speaking with you here this morning. I've gotten to know McNally Smith by guest lecturing at some classes here, and by seeing the great work the school does in this community. And I've gotten to know David Lewis, the amazing David Lewis, who's become a good friend and colleague of mine. And also from what I've heard around the country in the music industry about McNally Smith. This school has a great and well-deserved reputation. With this degree in hand, the table is set for you to go far in the industry, whether your focus is on technology, composition, performance, or business. So what's some guy who owns a company called Effect Partners doing here giving you a commencement speech? Well, for one thing, I have gray hair. So that means I've been around a lot, all right? I've been in the music industry for over 25 years now, and I've seen it from all sides. I've made every mistake you can possibly make in the book, I think, I hope, and I've learned a lot. I want to share with you today what I wish someone would have sat me down and told me about the industry before I threw myself into it. And as I was thinking about what I wanted to say today, I realized that the qualities of what you really need, I think, break down into 5 buckets, a couple of which we mentioned by the president there. So the first thing is connections and relationships. So we're in sync, by the way. We did not compare notes. We just said connections and relationships. So the music industry, even more than most industries, is all about who you know. As I'm sure you have already encountered, there are many walls up around the leadership in the industry. The best thing to do is network, connect, and use your McNally Smith degree and any connections the school can provide and work it. Paid internships, unpaid internships, informational interviews, asking your crazy uncle, crazy aunt, crazy neighbor, somebody, maybe somebody's not crazy even, make an email introduction, phone call to the record producer they know. If you want to make it in the industry, you have to aggressively pursue all possible leads. I remember when I produced Earth Day 1990, no one had heard of my organization or me. We were trying to mount this huge event to launch the modern environmental movement. Ask your parents about Earth Day 1990. It was a big deal back then. Anyway, we needed major artists to fill the mall in Washington, D.C. and Marywood Post for a television show. We called. It would be easy. Let's call and get some artists. So we called. No one would take our call. We faxed. Now, fax, that's like an email with paper. We'd call again. We'd travel to New York. We'd travel to LA. We'd show up at managers' doorsteps. We'd call again and again until we got through. We had a passion and a belief for what we were doing, and it came across eventually. Generally, it was some unpaid intern who finally took pity on us and somehow got a message to the managers. Sometimes an agent related to how committed we were will call us back. It was just crazy. I mean, seriously, we had so many doors slammed in our face. We finally got to the point of defining the responses as a soft no or a hard no. So if it was a soft no, that we would wait a week before we call back. And if it was a hard no, we'd have to wait 2 weeks. But we kept calling back. And it worked. We eventually developed these connections and relationships and ended up getting some of the biggest artists of that day and era to come and perform. We had R.E.M., 10,000 Maniacs, Bruce Hornsby, Ziggy Marley, Queen Latifah. These artists are now on the oldies bin, but they were really current then. So we ended up having 500,000 people on the mall in Washington, D.C., and not only helped to launch the modern environmental movement, it also launched my career in the music industry. Point being, if you want to succeed in the music industry, it begins and ends with relationships. If you don't have them, start to make them. Look around this room. You have your amazing faculty staff here, and you have each other. Sincere, meaningful relationships are the most important commodity you can invest in. Start at the beginning and be unrelenting in pursuit of those connections. Second bucket, change. You know the expressions, the only thing constant is change. Nothing endures but change. Well, these expressions are so well known because they are undeniably true, and no more so than in this industry. In my life, I hate to admit this, but in my life I've listened to music on 78 RPM records, 45, 33, 8-track tapes, cassettes, DATs, CDs, DVDs, MP3 players, iPods, iPhone, AM radio, FM radio, satellite radio, the cloud. I added this up and divided it, and actually it translates into a completely new distribution method every 4 to 5 years. And I'm thinking, what other industry undergoes fundamental change to the core business model so frequently? And who knows what's next? And you know what? For you, it doesn't matter. What's so important is you don't fear change. You need to embrace it, be prepared for it, look for it, expect it, thrive on it. And the thing is, you guys are the ones that are going to be creating this next wave of change, next format. How's it going to happen next? And that's exciting. And make your life about change. It's not like you have a choice. So throughout all these format changes, one thing has remained constant. Great art or great ideas stand out from the fray. If you can somehow stand for something like great art or songs, or as the case for me, social change, then that can be the driver to help innovate and lead that change. That is your opportunity, and that's your responsibility. Third bucket, stay grounded. The music business can be the most personally and rewarding career you could ever hope for, but it can equally take a toll on your body, your psyche, and your spirit. The gift of creating is bestowed upon those who are most sensitive and open to what the universe has to say. This also makes them the most vulnerable to the trappings of fame. Fight this. Do not confuse success with celebrity. Again, do not confuse success with celebrity. Over the years, I have had the privilege of working with and getting to know over 200 of the world's leading artists. Everybody asks me who my favorite artist is. Being politically correct, I always say they're all great, the best. But today, because I'm here on a special day, I'm going to say who one of my all-time favorite artists is, and that's Jack Johnson, if you guys know who he is. Well, and why do I say this? Well, Jack is probably one of the most thoughtful, selfless, and kind people I have ever met. Musician or not. You can tell it in his music, his words, his message. It's positive, it's hopeful, it's sincere. How does he stay grounded in this crazy music business? Well, it's simple. He's not driven to be a celebrity. He cares about creating and sharing and giving and being. He cares about truly and fully being here, being present. He puts his wife and family first. Despite being in the upper echelons of earning, he lives in a modest home. He takes out the garbage. He takes out his recycling. I've seen it. He has many friends from grade school still. He brings his family on tour with him, and his bandmates are encouraged to bring their families on tour with him. He thinks about this first. He does not judge, and he looks for the best in people. He has passed up huge gigs and huge honors to instead go surfing because the surfer is going to be good at that time of the year. Seriously. He's very generous. I suggested on his last tour he set up a foundation with a small percentage of his ticket sales going to this. He not only agreed to do this, he then decided that was just not enough. So what he did is he decided to make his entire tour a benefit and gave away all of his profits. As a result of his talent, and I contend his values and his karma, Jack's music and career have taken off and put him in the rarefied realm of a superstar artist, selling 30,000 to 50,000 tickets in many markets and millions of songs. I like to believe the good karma he has created has helped him to continue to write the hit songs he writes. But at this point, that's not his focus, nor should it be yours. Do good in the world, stay centered and grounded, the rest will come in time. Fourth bucket, hard work and luck. It's not fair, but the reality is that luck plays a big part in anybody's success in the music business. Sure, the raw talent must be there. However, that is only the entry cost. You've all seen the artist who's selling out arenas, who can't perform as well as a musician busking on the street. How did one become a star and the other one barely eke by? A lot of it is luck, right place, right song, right time. Thankfully, you can improve your luck by working hard, by making connections and nurturing them, by staying healthy and grounded, and so on. And the reality is luck always plays a big part in any success. So if you pray, you have a lucky rabbit, foot, or some other ritual or increasing luck factor, I encourage you to use it, and then let it go. You're on a path. What is most pressing is that you move forward in your life, control those things that are within your control, buckle down and work hard. And then last but not least, the last bucket is honor your gift. It's a gift to be able to create, produce, present, or perform music. It's a gift to yourself. It's a gift to those who hear your vision. Music moves the soul. Music allows the heart to feel and hear things it doesn't normally hear. What other product or thing enters the ears and goes straight to the heart? How many of you can say you have been moved to tears by a beautiful piece of music? There's nothing like music. And you've been trained at the highest level here in many aspects of music at one of the best institutions in the country. Use this gift wisely. Music creates a platform. Look at what Jack McNally and Doug Smith created here at McNally Smith with their gift. It can be a platform that inspires, motivates, and changes the world. Look what Bob Geldof did with Live Aid. Willie Nelson, Neil Young, John Mellencamp, and Dave Matthews have done with Farm Aid. Look what happened just this week with the big Hurricane Sandy 12-12-12 concert. Music has raised billions of dollars and created billions of actions around global change, righting wrongs, helping and giving. How did these events and others like them happen? It came from a visionary artist, producer, teacher, manager, or promoter who said, this must happen. Then they started trolling for soft no's, or maybe better yet, hard yeses. They worked their connections, they adapted to changes in the industry. They stayed healthy and grounded, they worked hard, and they were a little lucky. The rest is history. So, let's get started now. You have this gift. You have the ability to truly inspire and change the world. We expect nothing less of you. Thank you.
Now for the part of the program that you've been waiting for to get you awarded your degrees and diplomas. So at this time, I'd like to invite Susan Bresnay, Senior Director of Student Affairs, to announce the graduates.
I would like to introduce and invite up to the stage Jeff Bailey, who is the Department Head of Bass. Our first graduate today, Joshua Paul Ackerley, Bachelor of Music in Bass Performance. Adam Christopher Couch, Bachelor of Music in Bass Performance. Christopher Hartman, Bachelor of Music in Bass Performance. Maurice Vesquez, Associate of Applied Science in Bass Performance. I'd like to introduce Joe Elliott, Guitar Department Head. Nicholas Key, Bachelor of Music in Guitar Performance. Nathaniel C. Lutz, Bachelor of Music in Guitar Performance, cum laude. Robert Sidney Rayfield, Bachelor of Music in Guitar Performance. Clint Arts in Music Business, magna cum laude. Taylor Marie Mill, Bachelor of Music and Vocal Performance, summa cum laude. Jacob Ryer, Bachelor of Music and Vocal Performance. At this time, I'd like to introduce Gordy Knudsen, Percussion Department Head. Petar Janic, Bachelor of Music and Percussion Performance. Thomas O'Connell, Diploma in Percussion Performance. I'd like to introduce Dave Olson, Music Business Division Chair.
That's the backside.
Eva Gadich, Bachelor of Arts in Music Business, cum laude. Clayton Miles, Bachelor of Arts in Music Business, cum laude. I'd like to introduce Christopher Blood, Production Department Head. Jared Douglas Allen, Associate of Applied Science in Music Production. John Fetter, Associate of Applied Science in Recording Technology. Drew Foster, Associate of Applied Science in Recording Technology. Joshua Joseph Juris, Bachelor of Science in Music Production, cum laude. Omar Reyes, Bachelor of Science in Music Production. Tara Aaron Shopper, Associate of Applied Science in Recording Technology. At this time, I'd like to introduce Toki Wright, Hip Hop Studies Program Coordinator. Matthew James Jarvie, Diploma in Hip Hop Studies. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Sean McMahon, Composition Department Head. Ross B. Charmoli, Bachelor of Music and Composition. Cullen Fitzpatrick, Bachelor of Music and Composition. Casey Hawkes, Bachelor of Music and Composition. Ryan Horton, Bachelor of Music and Composition. Dan Knoflicek, Bachelor of Music and Composition, cum laude. Monica LaPlante, Bachelor of Music and Composition and Associate of Applied Science in Guitar Performance, cum laude.
Graduates, please stand. On behalf of the faculty and board of directors of McNally Smith College of Music, I confer upon each of you who has completed the necessary coursework and fulfilled all requirements, the degree of Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Associate of Applied Science, or Diploma with all the honors and privileges thereto. Congratulations.